Hi everyone, welcome to a massive Monday market update. Love these sessions. Looks like Bitcoin had a pretty eventful weekend. We ramped straight in 25,000. Yet again, couldn't break it. That is okay. That is to be expected. These longer term major resistance levels, same as support, takes a bit to break through. And the traders and derivatives markets like to really mess with a lot of people and try and wreck as many as possible who are maybe trading with leverage. And so you do get spikes in, spikes out. We're also seeing something that I think is reasonably bullish is that we haven't broken support below us and we're consolidating near resistance, which always is a sign of actually strength. That will change though, in my thesis, if we start to drop through some support levels. But so far, it does look like we are primed for a move back towards 25,000 for a decisive move. But again, we just have to wait. We're heading into an FOMC meeting in the next few days. So markets, again, are just hesitant into those events. But look, the markets are generally pricing in what the Federal Reserve is going to say anyway. So we're seeing that. I just want to show you here on the Bitcoin chart. You got 2 hits straight into that $25,000 region. It did look like we might have been motoring through here, but you just got to look at the momentum as well, because in the RSI, this relative strength index, you can see here, this is just on the 1 hour, and I'll sort of compact this and deconstruct this by going to higher timeframes as well. I mean, you just see here on this first peak, we did make this, little high before on the RSI, so showing a lot of strength, and then we tailed away. And these second and third peaks here, they just got weaker and weaker. And for me, if we're running into a resistance level, same as the opposite side, if you're running into support and you're seeing strength gain, this is a pretty clear divergence for me in terms of strength and price. If price continues moving up and bulls are losing that strength, it's a fairly obvious sign that we're going to see a fall away. You really want to see a decisive breakthrough and then a pullback to test resistance as support. So far, we've fallen down to a couple of fib levels, which is really, really nice. We've come down here, haven't quite reached the 0.382, which is interesting. The next real support levels are down here, 0.618. You can see the volume profiles down here. But so far, so good. We're trying to climb up. So these higher low structures just moving up. So again, consolidation near support. And we're seeing almost a pattern emerging here, an ascending triangle. We're just bouncing inside here. So would not be surprised to see us, again, we're trying to come back up here to test these areas. And this is wrecking a lot of people with this choppiness. So for me, it is still short-term bullish, but we're going to just be choppy. There's a holiday, I believe, in the US today. So the US stock market will not open. So it gives us another day where Bitcoin can just do its own thing until we see some volatility, which comes in with that. So we just go out to higher timeframes as well. Just again, painting you the broader picture, we're just starting this new positive trend quite visibly. And I'll get rid of this Fibonacci so you can see. If I'm just drawing this as, just so you can see almost like this staircase up. So we have the low down here, we're almost like an overreaction to the downside here, and then we've blasted up through here, and you can see it much better on the weekly and whatnot. But just as the broad trend is starting to move out, it's that staircase starting to move higher. So you can see there those higher lows and those higher highs. So you can really see that this is going to move up into a new trading range. I mean, I'm thinking it's going to get close to 29,000 if it breaks through the $25,000 level. And that is super important, because if we go out, so let's just say go to the daily, you can just see that the trend is starting to change here. And I thought I had my moving average up here, so I'll put that up now. Because I want to look at the 200s. They are really, really important for what we're seeing now, because it's using the 200-day moving average down here as that cushion underneath. This is where ideally I'd love to see Bitcoin fall back, but I just don't think it's going to give us that, because most people are wanting that 20,000 pullback down to this area at around 20,000. But like we saw in 2019, we just saw Bitcoin just bounce higher and keep everyone trying to move with the price and get in when they could. And this here, just the strength here is very, very impressive. If we go out to the weekly, this is why 25,000 is so imperative and so important. Covered this in our newsletter too, and broke down the charts for everyone so they could see. See the blue line. If we go back to cycles previous, we've always used the 200 as our cushion, our support level for those bear market lows. This is a massive overreaction underneath, in my opinion, based on traditional finance having a bit of a crapshoot in terms of that bearish momentum. And then we had FTX. So a real overreaction to the downside, in my opinion. Now we're just coming up to try and reclaim that. You get above this, and I think this market sees a lot of confidence. We could see quite a euphoric move up. in altcoins, in Bitcoin, we could very seriously go to 30,000 quite quickly. And then we're going to have to see whether this market has any more strength in that area, whether we're going to come back. I can really see us having that pulse up. And then we have to contend with a rather serious correction where we test out that 20,000 or at least come back to that 200 moving average. But that red box there I've just drawn, you can see how important that is with these. And this is on the weekly. These two hits broke out of this falling wedge really clearly. This new trend is being born. See there, pump up, correction, pump up, correction. And then we just move higher like that into a new positive bullish trend, which is really, really great to see. So that's the short-term analysis, is everything depends on 25,000. We breach, we really want to do this. We want to get up, come back down, test it as that support there, and then use it as the springboard to go high, to 30,000, maybe higher. But 30,000, that's going to be a real, again, another tough nut to crack, like 25,000. But this is the positive trend that you want to see. And the liquidity moves. If Bitcoin moves up, as soon as it consolidates, goes sideways, altcoins are going to catch up. Rising tide lifts all ships. All right, I wanted to get into Ethereum because I think this is really sleeping right now. And I'm looking at the FBTC chart. Now, this is the daily, but what I might do, I might go to the weekly because I've got something drawn there I want everyone to see. And we cover this every now and then just to keep everyone aware, because when Ethereum really breaks out against Bitcoin, that means Bitcoin, say, stays where it is, and then Ethereum is actually outperforming and moving much, much higher. Whenever it does that, and I've just linked on my chart, when we see altcoin outperformance, so when Ethereum really gets that motor going, altcoins really fly, and we see quote unquote alt season. So last time we really saw it was about March in 21. Then we had that pulse up. So Ethereum gained on Bitcoin about 186%. Altcoins then were going hundreds of percent higher. It just absolutely rolls. We've been in this consolidation sideways. But what happens if we break this 0.08 level, which I've got this big green line here. Now, forget Q4 alt season, that was going back a little while, but you break this technical line here and then altcoins are going to outperform. But Ethereum is sleeping here, in my opinion. It looks actually fantastic, just quietly consolidating under resistance. It is ready to go. And it's been in this region for, well, since June 22nd. It's been in this very visible range. It's chopping in here. What's Ethereum doing here? You can see it's just blasted up into this flag area. It broke down, retested this zone here. Couldn't even break down with this huge gap in volume, which is interesting. Now it's pulsed back up, consolidating under resistance. Now, consolidation at resistance is bullish. Do not mistake that for being bearish, because if you're seeing here that the RSI's momentum indicators have all cooled off, they're ready to go. So all Ethereum needs is, I guess, Bitcoin to stay doing what it's doing, not break some really key support levels, and this can motor up. Look out if Ethereum breaks this level. We're going to $2,000 Ethereum pretty quickly if it does. You might run into a few roadblocks in terms of, it's really 2,000. So yeah, this looks really nice to me. The momentum starting to curl up. The daily looks good. MACDs look pretty good as well. And this is the same with Bitcoin, but it has really made its dash in that shorter term. That breaks up into 25,000 and 26,000, that kind of area. Ethereum's going to make the move anyway, and I think it's going to just really piggyback. So keep that in mind. If we pivot over to the broad scheme of things, the crypto total crypto market cap. So this includes Bitcoin. You can look at it without Bitcoin too, which is hyper useful. We see here 2021 bull market. I mean, we got up to $3 trillion, and we have seen a 76% retracement. We actually came all the way back to the 0.786, and you'd be so surprised over these market cycles how often after a bull market cycle, in fact, go to the weekly, so it just compresses some of this data, how often after a bull market impulse we come back and test the 0.786. Up 0.786. We actually bounced perfectly up 0.786. Last time we actually went under it. So that just shows you there's a lot more strength in the overall market cap, like a floor that it just won't go down. And altcoins have been stronger this time around rather than the 2018 ICO blow up where a lot of altcoins just simply went to zero. That's not been the case this time around. And we can see here, this is very clearly in a range, quite similar to Ethereum. Also Bitcoin, you can think of trying to break out of that $25,000 zone. That breaks out, this whole thing just flies. And I've got a bit of a line that I've drawn there that I think we're probably due for that, because that's just technically what the ranges tell me. We do have fibs that we're going to run into here, but if we break up this area here, this inside here, this is a trading range. This will be the new floor. That will be the new top of the range. So yeah, I mean, that's just what the volume tells me. There's a bit of a gap there, so it should run pretty quickly up to that, 1.7, 1.8 region. Overall. So there is money sitting on the sidelines. Do want to get involved here. We just want to see more positive signs in the macro as well. But again, Bitcoin's going to do what Bitcoin wants. 25,000. Again, once that breaks, could be like this euphoric release for the market. So just be aware, we could see a mini blow off towards 30,000 of the altcoins running, and that's when you want to be hyper vigilant to your stop losses and your strategies, and see what you're doing for 2023. So guys, hope you've enjoyed this episode. Don't sleep on what's going on in the market right now. Also, don't sleep on the AI trend. We've seen a lot of those cryptos pull back. I'll be covering that shortly for our mastermind clients, but please watch our webinar, which we released not too long ago, last week, I believe, on our top 3 picks in terms of what we're looking at with the AI trend and what we're seeing just generally, because we're advising, we think this is very frothy, it was going to pull back, and it has, which is fantastic. So now's the time to really strategically look at your portfolio. Do you have exposure to AI? Where do you see it in the future? Now's the time to really get cracking. So have a great day, guys. See you later. Bye.